Cacao, also known as cocoa, is a tropical evergreen tree that is grown for its edible seeds. The scientific name of the cacao tree, Theobroma cacao, means food of the gods in Greek. Cacao is native to lowland rainforests of the Amazon and Orinoco River basins and is grown commercially in the New World tropics as well as Western Africa and tropical Asia. Its seeds, called cocoa beans, are processed into cocoa powder, cocoa butter, and chocolate. Cacao farming is an important industry for numerous countries. The cacao plant must be grown in specific tropical regions and requires a humid, hot climate to flourish. In cultivating cacao, plants are first grown from seeds or cuttings and then transplanted. Other tree crops such as banana, palm, or rubber are often planted with the cacao to provide shade and wind protection for the young trees. It can take approximately 3 years after planting for the trees to be fruitful enough to harvest the pods. Cacao has a rich history that dates back to ancient civilizations. In the world, cacao was first cultivated by the Maya civilization in Mesoamerica around 1500 BCE. They used cacao to make a bitter beverage, often flavored with spices and chili. Later, the Aztecs adopted cacao and it became an integral part of their culture. In the 16th century, Spanish explorers brought cacao back to Europe, where it gained popularity as a luxury beverage. Over time, sugar was added to sweeten the drink, leading to the creation of chocolate as we know it today. In Thailand, cacao cultivation is a relatively recent development. It started in the 1960s, with the government promoting cacao as a cash crop for farmers. However, it wasn't until the late 1990s and early 2000s that cacao production gained significant momentum in the country. Thailand's tropical climate proved suitable for cacao cultivation, and Thai chocolate brands began to emerge, gaining recognition for their unique flavors and quality. Today, Thailand is known for producing high-quality cacao beans and chocolate products, with a growing reputation in the global chocolate industry. The history of cacao in Thailand reflects its journey from a relatively new entrant to a noteworthy player in the world of cacao cultivation and chocolate production. Sangja Farm and Resort is located at 104 Habs Mu 7, Tambon Phongam, Ampho Prakantakam, Prajanburi Province, Thailand. Established in the year 2013 by Mr. Munanrat Sangja, it was founded with the intention of creating a sustainable business. It began as an integrated agricultural farm, cultivating various types of vegetables and fruits for sale to guests and for educational purposes, promoting natural farming practices. In the year 2017, Sangja Farm and Resort started cultivating cacao in a part of the farm, aiming to increase local farmers' income. The goal was to become a center for educating about cacao cultivation and processing in Prajanburi Province. In 2020, the farm established a cacao processing factory named Sangja Farm Chocolate Factory, producing chocolate from cacao grown on the farm. The factory focuses on high-quality ingredients, meticulously selected and processed using modern, clean, and safe methods. Sangja Farm Chocolate Factory produces various forms of chocolate, including bars, filled chocolates, and cocoa mass, emphasizing intense flavor, natural aroma, and the appreciation of nature. It has gained popularity among consumers both locally and internationally. Aside from chocolate production, Sangja Farm Chocolate Factory also offers chocolate-making workshops for those interested. These workshops cover topics ranging from cacao cultivation to chocolate production. Today, Sangja Farm and Resort, along with Sangja Farm Chocolate Factory, has transformed into an agritourism destination and a learning hub for cacao enthusiasts in Prajanburi Province, drawing significant attention and popularity. Come with me, I will show you how to make chocolate from beans to bar. The cocoa blossom. Like star fruit, cocoa flowers bloom on the trunk and branches. It takes about 6 to 7 months for the flowers to ripen into fruit that can be harvested. Harvesting. Cocoa fruit is harvested when it is about halfway ripe. If it is less ripe, the seeds will not have enough sugar for yeast to feed on. If it is too ripe, the flesh inside will be dry and the seeds will germinate and be unusable. To harvest cocoa fruit, use scissors or a knife to cut it straight off the stem. Do not pick it with your hands, as the cut will produce new flowers and fruit. If you pick it with your hands, you will damage the flower buds. This means that if you find any incomplete or insect-infested fruit, you should remove it immediately to encourage new flowers to bloom sooner. Fermenting. After harvesting the ripe fruit, it is then fermented. The purpose of fermenting cocoa beans is to bring out the flavor of chocolate. The fermentation process is divided into 2 stages. The first stage is anaerobic fermentation, which takes about 2 days. To do this, drill holes in the bottom of a barrel and line the sides with banana leaves. Then, fill the barrel with about 80% cocoa beans. Cover with banana leaves again, seal the lid tightly, and place the barrel inside another barrel to prevent air from entering. On the 3rd day, remove the outer barrel, open the lid, and turn the beans over. This is done to mix in oxygen and react in the fermentation process. This step is called aerobic fermentation. Repeat this process for 7 days. After the fermentation process is complete, the fermented beans are dried in the sun for about 5 days. During drying, the beans should be stirred and turned to ensure that they are evenly dried and separated. Roasting. Roasting coffee beans is divided into 3 levels: light, medium, and dark. However, roasting cocoa beans is different. Cocoa beans are roasted to a single level. The purpose of roasting cocoa beans is threefold. 1. To warm the cocoa butter and make it expand. 2. To make the beans easier to remove from the husk. 3. To reduce the acidity of the beans. Cocoa beans are roasted at a temperature of 130 degrees Celsius for about 15-20 minutes, depending on the size and quantity of beans roasted each time. The roaster must keep a record of the beans used, known as a chocolate profile, to track details such as the source of the beans, the size and weight of the beans, the roasting time, and the quantity roasted each time. The reason for using 130 degrees Celsius is that citric acid is produced during fermentation. Some of this citric acid will seep back into the beans, giving them a sour taste. The boiling point of citric acid is 130 degrees Celsius, so this temperature helps the citric acid to evaporate from the beans. The reason for roasting for 15-20 minutes is that if the roasting time is too long, the citric acid will evaporate from the beans completely, leaving the chocolate with no sourness at all. However, it is important to remember that cocoa beans contain around 50% cocoa butter. If the beans are heated for too long, they can easily burn. In reality, the acidity of the beans is already reduced during fermentation. This is done by drilling holes in the bottom of the fermentation vessel to drain the juice and citric acid from the beans. This process also produces cocoa juice, which can be sold on the first day, cocoa wine, which can be sold on the second day, and cocoa vinegar, which can be sold on the third and fourth days. Take the husk off for winnowing. Removing the husk from the beans can be done by hand. However, at Sengja Farm, we use modern machine to do this in large quantities, ensuring that we obtain clean, husk-free beans.
Welcome to our magical heart-opening journey with the spirit of cacao.
Grinding. A grinding machine or moanner, which is adapted from an Indian flour mill, is used to grind cacao beans into a fine, smooth cocoa mass with the particle size of less than 18 microns. The resulting liquid is called cocoa mass or cocoa liquor. At this stage, you can add ingredients to the ground cacao to make a particular type of chocolate. For example, if you want to make 70% chocolate, you can add 30% sugar. The amount of sugar or another ingredient added will depend on your recipe. After grinding for 2 days and 2 nights, large chocolate factories will age the resulting cocoa mass in a curing tank for about 3 days. This process is called quenching. It helps to smooth out the flavor of the chocolate and reduce undesirable flavors and aromas, such as bitterness and sourness. At Sangja Farm, we use a continuous grinding process for 5 days and 5 nights. The first 2 days are for grinding the cocoa mass, and the remaining 3 days are for the quenching process. In general, if the chocolate mass has a particle size of less than 80 microns, the chocolate will melt in your mouth and you will be able to fully appreciate its aroma, texture, and flavor. Tempering process. Tempering is a process that helps chocolate retain its shape and texture at room temperature. It involves heating the chocolate to a specific temperature, cooling it, and then reheating it. This process causes the cocoa butter in the chocolate to crystallize in a specific way that gives it a snap and shine. There are 6 known crystal forms of cocoa butter, but only one of them, form V or beta crystal, is the most desirable. This is the crystal structure that gives chocolate its characteristic snap when bitten into and its smooth, melt-in-your-mouth texture. The tempering process helps to create more of these beta crystals in the chocolate. This is why tempered chocolate is more stable and less likely to melt at room temperature. It is also why tempered chocolate has a better texture than untempered chocolate. At Sangja Farm, we use a combination of manual and high-end machine tempering for our chocolates. We use machines for large-scale production of dark chocolate, such as our 70% dark chocolate. For our other chocolates, we use a manual tempering process that allows us to control the temperature and cooling time more precisely. Tempering is a vital step in chocolate making. It is what gives chocolate its signature texture and appearance. Without tempering, chocolate would be soft and greasy. Here are some additional details about the tempering process. Melt the chocolate at 45 degrees Celsius using a double boiler. Cool it down to 27 degrees Celsius. Finally, reheat it to 33 degrees Celsius. The tempering process can be done by hand or with the machine. Machine tempering is more efficient, but manual tempering can give you more control over the process and allow you to experiment with different recipes. Molding and unmolding chocolate. Once the chocolate has been tempered, it is ready to be molded. You can use any type of mold you like, but polycarbonate molds are a good option because they are easy to release the chocolate from. To mold the chocolate, simply pour it into the mold and gently tap it to release any air bubbles. Then, place the mold in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes, or until the chocolate is set. Once the chocolate is set, you can unmold it by carefully inverting the mold and taping it on the counter. The chocolate should come out easily. The 3 factors of bean-to-bar chocolate making. There are 3 important factors to consider when making bean-to-bar chocolate. Time. The time it takes to ferment, roast, and grind the cocoa beans will affect the flavor of the chocolate. Temperature. The temperature at which the cocoa beans are roasted and tempered will also affect the flavor of the chocolate. Moisture. Chocolate is made from cocoa butter, which is an oil. Any moisture in the chocolate will cause it to become greasy and untempered. Enjoy Sangja chocolate, the best chocolate in Bury.
As a Swiss citizen, I can confirm that this chocolate is just great. It has a wonderful good taste, same origin in my country.
Very nice. It's like you know Switzerland chocolate from Switzerland, no? It's just like that because it's smoothie, it's creamy, and it's like a strong taste with a creamy texture. It's really like Switzerland chocolate. Not from my country, which is Belgian chocolate, which is a little bit different, but like in Switzerland because they have very nice milk also, and the chocolate is very nice. Wow, cacao. I take one more.
This is the first time I can taste such a joy. For me, it's a joy because I wanted to have one piece only, and I finished one bar with my husband. That's his fault. It's very, very good, creamy, and the taste is excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now I speak in Italian for the Italian friends. Ragazzi, questa è paurosa, è buonissima, sinceramente ha un sapore che era da un pezzo che questa delicatezza io non la sentivo. Io adoro il cioccolato al latte, questa è 100% ottima. Ciao, arrivederci.
So most of the time I wouldn't order hot chocolate because I don't think like in a restaurant the hot chocolate tastes like hot chocolate. It's mainly sweet. But here it actually is hot chocolate. Like you can taste chocolate, you can taste the honesty of cacao, and I do love that.
Drink cacao to say thank you for what I have. Drink cacao to say thank you for what I am. Drink cacao to say thank you for everything I know.